Welcome to the engineering technology class for December the 7th. I have looked over the homework assignments that you guys turned in, and it looks like most of you have a pretty good understanding now of what's the difference between an isometric drawing versus a perspective drawing versus an orthographic drawing. And there's a few of you who still, some of the pictures that you drew were not quite right. I don't want to take the time to go over everybody's drawings right now because most of you got it. But those of you that didn't get a 10 on last night's homework, I sent you a message. Now, in some cases, the mistake that you made was a pretty simple one, and so I was able to just tell you verbally, in writing anyway, tell you in writing what the mistake was. A few of you, it was a little bit more complex. So what I asked you guys to do was to stick around after class so that we could talk. So that is what I'd like you to do is when we finish the regular class today, if you're one of the ones that got a message from me asking you to stick around after class, then let's talk separately. But most of you seem to have it really well. Now on your orthographic drawings of the Lego brick, again, most of them looked really good. What we're going to do today now is we're going to take a huge step forward. We're going to stop drawing things with pencil and paper, and we're going to start having the computer draw them for us. We're going to start into what's called computer-aided design, which CAD, spelled CAD. That's a phrase that you may have heard before, and you're definitely going to hear it a lot going forward. CAD is the way that drawing is done these days. If you go into any engineering firm and you watch them as they're preparing engineering drawings of the things that they're making, nobody uses paper and pencil anymore. Everybody does it on the computer using what's called CAD software. Now, most CAD software is really sophisticated, really expensive. It costs thousands of dollars per year to get a license to use their software. But there is a package, actually there's a couple CAD packages out there that are free and that are based on the cloud. So you don't have to download them to your computer. And well, that's what we're going to be using in this class. And so today, for the first time, we're going to start into CAD. Somebody just arrived here. Let me just mark him a little tardy there. Okay. Okay, so the way that I'm going to introduce you to CAD is I'm going to show you the Lego brick drawn by CAD. And I'm going to show you how we can view this brick from all of the different ways, exactly like I asked you to do in the homework last night. So there was a reason for why I did what I did. Okay, so I just shared my screen. So you should now be seeing a computer drawn picture of an 8-dot Lego brick. And I can turn this around so I can look at it from all sorts of different angles here. I can look at it from below if I want, so you can see the insides there. I can look at it from the top, okay? Now, if you look at the lines, especially, well, if you look at the lines from the Lego brick, in fact, tell you what, let me turn on annotation so that I can show things a little bit more easily here. Okay, so if you look at this line right here, and you look at this line right here, you can see they do come together. Same with this line going off that way, line going off that way. They do come together. And it's even easier to see if you look at the floor here. The floor here has that same kind of, it has kind of a graph paper type grid there. And you can see they all come together. Okay, so I want you guys to type into the chat box, and I want you to tell me what drawing technique are you seeing when you look at this picture right here. So type it in a private message, not a public message, and tell me what are we seeing here. Okay. All right. Interesting. Very interesting. Most of you got the right answer, but a fairly large fraction of you got the wrong answer. Okay, so the right answer is 2-point perspective. What you're seeing right now is 2-point perspective. And more than half of you got that right, but some of you said that this was an isometric view, and that is not correct. When you see those lines going so that they meet at a vanishing point, okay, that is not perspective. I'm sorry, that is not isometric. That is perspective. So let me draw the lines here one more time here. Okay, so if you see that this line and this line come together at a vanishing point, that is not an isometric drawing. That is a perspective drawing. Okay. Now, if I wanted to, I could change my viewing here to make it be an isometric drawing. And you guys are going to learn how to do this in just a little while, but let me just demonstrate. This little icon that you see over here, if I click on it, bingo. Now you see all of a sudden it's no longer a perspective drawing. Now all of a sudden it is isometric. Because if I draw the lines here, okay, so you can see here that this line here and this line here, they're parallel to each other. They never come together. Same with this line over here and this line over here, okay? So this is a 2-point isometric drawing. And all I had to do to get it was I just click this little button here. I can toggle back and forth. That is a perspective drawing. That's an isometric drawing. Now, you may have noticed that when I hover over this button, okay, so right now I'm in perspective view. If I hover over here, it says switch to orthographic view, and you're going to say, hey, wait a minute, Mr. Hendricks. When I click on it, that is not an orthographic view. That is an isometric view. Well, I can make it be orthographic by clicking up here. So up in the right here, I have a little box. If I click on front, bingo. Now you'll see that I do in fact have an orthographic view. And if I click on this edge, it'll turn me half of the way to where I want to be. And then I click one more time. Okay, so now I'm seeing an orthographic view from the side. And if I want to see an orthographic view from the top, bingo, there it is. There's an orthographic view from the top. And then if I want to see it from any other angle, what I can do is I can take my mouse and so I'm going to right click on the mouse. And then while I hold it down, then if I move it around, so now I can see it from any angle. I can see it from below if I want. I can see it from the top. I can rotate it all around. I can look at the back side if I want. Okay, all right. But you'll notice that all of the views that we're seeing right now are in isometric. And if I click over here, now I'm back into perspective. So I can get all of the drawings that I want. Okay, so let's look at last night's homework. So item number 1 in your homework was 2-point isometric showing 2 sides in the top. Okay, so I click into here and there you go. Okay, so this is what drawing number 1 should have looked like. Now, it might have looked like this, might have looked like this, okay? Or you may have chosen to look at it from this other side. That's okay. Any of these drawings are good, okay? So all of these drawings are 2-point isometric showing 2 sides and the top. So this is what drawing number 1 was supposed to have looked like. And so tell you what, actually, I'd like you all to get out your homework and compare what you see here with what you drew. So you can see this is what it should have looked like for number 1. Now, number 2 was 2-point isometric showing 2 sides in the bottom. Okay, so if I come up here, okay, so this is what drawing number 2 was supposed to have looked like. Now, you could have done this from any angle. You could have done it like over here, could have done it like this if you wanted, could have done it like this. So lots of different ways you could have done it, but you'll notice they're all isometric. The lines are all parallel to each other. The lines going off the left are all parallel. The ones that are going to the right are all parallel. Okay, so this is drawing number 2. Now drawing number 3 said 1-point isometric showing 2 sides on the top. Okay, we're showing, wait a minute. Okay, so in this case, this is one where it's a little bit harder to get 1-point isometric. It would look something like approximately like that. Okay, but this is one where it's a little bit hard to get it exactly the way that you want. This drawing doesn't really do 1-point isometric well. It does 2-point great, but it doesn't really do 1-point very well. Okay, number 3, orthographic is viewed from the widest side. Okay, so what I do, if I just click here, okay, it takes me directly, there we are, that's orthographic viewed from the widest side. Okay, drawing number 6, orthographic is, I'm sorry, number 5, orthographic is viewed from the narrow side. Okay, so if I just click here, there we are. There's orthographic view from the narrow side. Okay, if I want to see orthographic from the top, there it is. Okay, and if I want to see orthographic from the bottom, okay, there it is. Okay, now, one thing that is different about this compared to what I asked for, okay, so when the computer software does an orthographic view, it doesn't show the Superman view. It only shows what a human could see. Now, this particular software that we're using, which by the way, this is Tinkercad. This is the same software that we used when we were doing the Arduino simulations. It's the same software. Okay, so it can do electrical engineering stuff as well as mechanical engineering stuff. Okay, so this software here, it can only show what the human being can see. This software is not capable of doing the Superman view. Now, if we were to use the expensive CAD software that costs thousands of dollars per year for a license to use, then I would have another button that I could click on that would take me into Superman view. And if I was in Superman view, so let's go to front side here, and let me zoom in just a little bit. Okay, so if I wanted to see Superman view, what would that look like? Well, okay, first off, there would be a dotted line along here and along here and along here. Okay, so that dotted line, I can use that to see how thick is the wall on the Lego. Okay, then also, those cylinders that are inside. Okay, so there would be a dotted line right there, a dotted line right there, dotted line right there, and a dotted line right there. So that's what it would look like if I could turn on Superman view. But with this free CAD software that we're using here, you guys won't be able to do Superman view. You can only do the view that a human being would actually be able to see. Okay, so what I'd like all of you guys to do right now is I'd like you to open up Canvas, and I'd like you to go into the modules there and go down to Module 5, Civil Engineering, and oops, wrong one. That's the wrong class. That's the more advanced engineering class. Let's go to you guys. Okay, so engineering technology, go to modules. Okay, so when you guys go down here, you'll notice there's a bunch of stuff labeled CAD. So that's what we're getting into right now. But you see this file that I'm pointing to right here that says Lego brick 8.stl. Okay, I want everybody to click on that thing. Okay, so I'll go ahead and I'll click on it. And so what you'll see is this. And so I would like everybody to tell me, I want you to type into the chat box saying got it when you actually are on this page. Okay, I see several of you got it. Okay, all right, good. It looks like most of you have it. Okay, now this note here about the document preview currently being processed. Well, this file is a format that Canvas can't handle. So you can wait until the cows come home And the document preview is never going to show up because this format, this STL format, is a format that Canvas just cannot handle. Okay. All right. So what I want you to do instead is I want you to click on the title here, just one click. Now, if you are using Chrome as your browser, what will happen is that it will download this thing to your computer. And you can see down here in the lower left here, it tells me that it just downloaded it. Now, it's telling me that it called it file number 2. That's because I've already downloaded it a couple times. And so there are already 2 copies in my download folder that are already named Lego Brick. Okay. So I want everybody to download this file. Okay. So when you've got it downloaded, now if you're not using Chrome, if you're using some other browser, then I trust that you know where the download file got put. Okay. So now what I want everybody to do is I want you to open up Tinkercad. So go into here and open up Tinkercad. Now, up until now, we've always gone into the circuits part of Tinkercad, but this time we're going to work in the 3D design part of Tinkercad. Now, on my screen, you can see I've got a whole bunch of designs that I had already done previously. In your case, it'll probably be empty. In fact, if this is the first time you've ever gone in there, it will be empty. So what I want you to do is I want you to click on the button that says Create New Design. And you'll see what you'll see is an empty floor, the kind of the graph paper type floor, which by the way is called the work plane. Okay. And so once you are at this point, I want you to type into the chat box saying, I am here, or something to that effect. Yes, here is acceptable. Okay, so I'll wait here. I'll wait until everybody has Tinkercad opened and you're looking at a blank work plane. Okay, all right, looks like most people are there. Okay, all right, now what we're going to do is we are going to import the Lego brick that I had previously created for you to look at. All right, so how do you import bricks, or how do you import files? Well, if you look over here on the upper right, you see there's a button there that says import. So obviously that's what we want. So go ahead and click on that. And now you'll see it's asking you to choose a file. Also, you can import a bunch of other ways too, but choose a file is what we want. So I want you guys to do this too. So click on choose a file. And so now you need to navigate to wherever your download file is. So if you, like, here's the desktop. So if you're using Chrome as your browser, when you download stuff, it automatically goes to the downloads folder. And you can see I've downloaded this file several times. So I downloaded a couple times yesterday and then earlier this morning. Okay, so any one of these download files says Lego brick. I want you to go ahead and click on one of those and then click on open. And then you'll see a window that looks like this. So it says import 3D shape, and there's the name of the file. Now mine has a 2 by it, yours probably doesn't. And there's a couple things here that we could change if we wanted to, but let's not change anything. Leave those numbers the same, and then go ahead and just click on import and wait a few seconds. And then a Lego brick will magically appear on your work plane. Okay, now I see one of you is saying that you're having trouble downloading the file. So Owen, what browser are you using?
Sorry, yeah, I'm using Chrome, but it says that my Chromebook is not allowed to run whatever this is.
Oh, you got a Chromebook. Oh, okay, yeah, that's going to be a problem. Yeah, you have to have a real computer. Now, the people at Google are going to get mad if I call a Chromebook not a real computer, but yeah. So Owen, for right now, all I can say is just watch.
Okay.
Remember that everything that we're doing is being recorded. Do you have another computer that you can use later? That's not a Chrome.
I do.
Okay. All right, good. So for right now, just watch.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right. So everybody else, you should now have a Lego brick. And over on the left, let me show you how to move around here. So on the left side, we got a couple buttons. So we can zoom in on the Lego brick if we want. And we can zoom out. Okay. And then if we click on this cube in the upper left here, we can have it so we're looking at any face we want. So if I click on the front, you'll see that we're looking at the front face. If I click on the right side of the cube, it turns 45 degrees. If I click on again, okay, so now I'm looking at the side. Okay, click again. Now I'm looking at the back. I want you guys to do the same thing. Now let's look at it from the bottom. So click down here, give it one more click. So now we're looking straight on at the bottom. Okay. Now, if you